done it.
This is going to be a different one. Here we are, episode 6. The music,
No
the
banter.
fanfare, it's playing in. No banter, no time. We're on a crunch, but we want to make sure we can get an episode out for the good people listening and watching. A lot to discuss on this episode. It's actually kind of funny that this is the episode that we're on a huge time crunch because I feel like there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to play things fast and loose today. Not going to really get into a lot of the nitty gritty details and kind of expand upon things. We're just going to jump right in, Tina, if you're cool with that.
Let's do it. Yeah. Well, let's do it. I'm Tina. That's Nick. The end.
And we are, I Think You'll Hate This, a movie podcast. And thank you guys for tuning in. Let's just jump right in. So 3 quick news stories. Now, typically we do news story and then 2 main topics, and we kind of trade off week to week. I wanted to kind of truncate all of these into just like a quick rapid fire, like what's your reaction to these things, and then we'll move on.
I'm so nervous
because they all kind of fall into the same wheelhouse.
Okay.
So this one is hot off the presses. This comes to us from Bloody Disgusting. Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, TV series, is actually in the works officially with A24, and a new film is in development. Quickly reading here, A24 has emerged victorious from a months-long bidding war for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film and TV rights. Strange Darling filmmaker and Long Walk screenwriter J.T. Molnar is spearheading a TV series based on the iconic horror property, with Glenn Powell executive producing. I guess Texas Glenn Powell wants a little cut of the leather face for him.
That threw me for a loop at the end. Everything else was making sense, and then you throw in Glenn Powell. He hasn't done. Well, I guess he did Scream Queens, but I don't really feel like that counts as horror. I think I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The original Tobe Hooper one?
I think so. Look, I'm going to have a really unpopular opinion about this that I didn't think I was going to have to air out until Halloween time.
Let's air it.
I think a lot of slasher movies are kind of the same, and I don't really care about like the franchise package.
Okay. Where does Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series rank in terms of like your Freddy's and Nightmare on Elm Streets, your Jason with Friday the 13th? Like, is he more favorable, less favorable?
They're all the same.
Care?
They're all exactly the same to me. Okay, I have seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre according to Letterboxd. I did not rate it or review it, so
awesome. So it could go either way.
It could really go either way. I do not think that I liked it. Is this the one where it ends with the girl laughing covered in blood in the pickup truck?
In the car. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, cool. It looked pretty. But like to me, it's like we're only making a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie because we want the name recognition of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You could slap anybody in a weird little face mask and make him a killer. Mm-hmm. The end.
And I would honestly rather see more things like Hard Eyes, for example, was a recent one that came out, that it's just like, give me something new, different motive, different icon.
Yeah.
Happy Death Day, even to a certain degree.
That freaky little baby.
Iconography. Freaky little baby. So I will approach this timidly. I like JT Molnar, fair deal. Glenn Powell's great. A24 being behind this is super interesting. I believe Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw was also one of the teams that was bidding for it. So curious what they do. It'll be exciting. Next up here, another quick little news bit. Chiwetel Ejiofor joins Scarlett Johansson in the new Exorcist movie from Blumhouse Universal, being directed by Mike Flanagan. He also rounds out the cast, not only, like I said, with Scarlett Johansson, but our boy Jacoby Jupe from Hamnet. How we feeling?
Everything you say is like, bummer, not interested. And then that last thing gets me in because I'm like, I don't care about The Exorcist.
I mean,
and then you say Jacoby Jupe and Mike Flanagan, and I say, well, let's hear him out.
And I like Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yes. I think he's a great actor. Yeah. Scarlett Johansson is pretty good as well. You're shaking your head. That's fine. Are you?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I'm not. I guess I should say I'm curious and dubious of her in a movie like this, because I don't think I've seen her in something that is like this, like hardcore in terms of like emotional, like the horror behind Exorcist is very visceral.
Right.
Did not care for Exorcist Believer, the David Gordon Green Endeavor, so much so that the sort of trilogy they were planning got absolutely killed dead on arrival by that film.
Is Flanagan writing?
Flanagan is writing, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that is what makes me. I feel like it's been a long time since Scarlett Johansson. To think of her delivering like a Flanagan monologue. I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel it. I don't see the vision. But I've been wrong before. But also, it's The Exorcist. Like it doesn't have to be The Exorcist. You could just have any other possessed child and just like call it a day.
It's the name pedigree that is going to sell the tickets. And so, like, I understand it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I was surprised with what Flanagan could do with Ouija, Origin of Evil, frankly.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks well on what he could do here. Just a couple other details with this. Diane Lane is in this, if that stirs the pot for you. But sources are saying that Chiwetel Ejiofor will be playing an ex-con turned priest, and Johansson will be playing Jupe's mother. So I reckon Jacoby Jupe is going to get a lot of acting work with this in terms of like being a possessed child, presumably. Yeah. I think that's the direction it's going.
I mean, he's got the face for it. Let's be honest. Some children just have that possessible face.
And last, go. What's up?
I have 2 twins. I hope the mother of the twins is not listening to this, but I have long said, if one of the twins gets possessed, I know which one it's going to be just based on the face. I think you'd handle it in stride.
Yeah, there are those people that you're like, you've got that sort of vibe about you, the face, your essence.
Yeah, nothing against them, love them, but like I know that if it was between my sister and I'm getting possessed, so it's respect.
Last story here, again, all in the same wheelhouse of horror. James Wan and Leigh Whannell tease the new Saw installment. You can't make a Saw movie without Jigsaw. This is from Bloody Disgusting as well. There's a lot about this.
Okay.
We don't have the time to talk about it. I mean, I'm sure as, production on this new film will come, we'll have more opportunities to discuss Saw. Saw is one of my favorite horror franchises. I think the first 3 are solid. That's the 3 that James Wan and Leigh Whannell were most involved with in terms of writing and directing and just producing. And then it kind of gets off the rails and sort of becomes like a soap drama, which I actually kind of like that it slips into that. It becomes kind of like cheesy and fun. And I even liked Spiral for what it's worth, the Chris Rock one, just because I admire someone like Chris Rock being like, I really like this franchise and have something to say. So it's like, okay, do it. And then I believe it was 2 years ago, Saw X was like the most proper return to form for the franchise. And then a subsequent Saw 11 was immediately greenlit, and then a feud started internally, and then it just kind of dissolved. And then that's when Blumhouse basically came in and said, hey, we're going to acquire the Saw franchise, considering Atomic Monster, which is James Wan's production company, is now merged with Blumhouse. Right. This all is basically like now they're back in the proper hands of the original creators. They did a screening of it at Sundance this past week because it premiered at Sundance. And so Leigh Whannell and James Wan were there to kind of like do a Q&A and talk about it. And they're very much tiptoeing around what their involvement is beyond them being like, we're going to be here to shepherd the project in. No details on if they're going to write and direct. But what they did say is that it's definitely not going to be like Spiral. And they wanted to get back to like the horror and the scariness of Saw. And one of the big things that they keep harping on is like, you can't really do Saw proper without Jigsaw. So they said that's kind of inherent to what we want to do going back into this franchise. And learned people of the Saw franchise will know that John Kramer, Jigsaw, dies in Saw 3. So what they're going to do with this, I don't know. Saw X takes place in between Saw 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of room where they could do this. I'm very excited. I'll be watching it with bated breath. I have my grievances with Blumhouse that I've mentioned on numerous occasions with this podcast. But I have more optimism in them producing a solid Saw film with James Wan and Leigh Whannell involved to some degree. I can't say the same when it comes to I believe Blumhouse also acquired the rights to Blair Witch Project. That one gives me a lot more hesitation. But quickly off the rip, Tina, all this Saw talk, what's your relationship with Saw and how do you feel about this?
I like the little puppets knockoff AMC ad.
Billy?
Sure.
Billy
I
the
don't know his
Puppet?
government name.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen Saw and Spiral.
Uh-huh. Okay. Sure.
I
I
loved
mean,
Saw. Um,
yeah.
but I think the other ones, I don't really love like a torture porny situation, which is what I've
Sure.
heard it kind of delves into.
It
So
evolves into that, certainly.
yeah. So I think maybe if like some were selected to recommend to me that like feel like the vibe of Saw 1, I would check them out because I loved Saw 1. But as a whole, I'm like, just let the freaky little puppet have fun. I think he's funny. I think it's crazy. But I have no real game in Saw at all.
I like that in Spiral they iterated on Billy the Puppet and made it like a little pig cop little marionette doll. I thought that was very silly and worked for the story they were telling. And honestly, if they created different like puppets and stuff for like different spin-offs and stuff, I think why not?
But like, why is he on a trike?
There's no I'm trying to go through the Rolodex of knowledge I have of this franchise in my head, and there's really no
And like, why does he
explanation.
Why does he exist?
I think it was meant to be like a toy for John Kramer's baby before
That?
the baby died. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think that's actually what it was. But if I had to recommend any of the Saw films, I would say definitely consider trying out Saw 2 and 3, because again, those are the ones that Lee Winnell wrote and James Wan was involved with.
Is that the
and
needle
then Saw X.
pool one though?
The needle one is in the second one, yeah.
I don't know about that.
You can just close your eyes. And then Saw X or Saw 10 was the latest one. That one is it's contained all in one room. And it's like a chamber piece, and Tobin Bell as John Kramer is heavily involved in it. The emotional stakes are really, really good on that one as well. So would definitely recommend that one.
All right. That's the most convincing sales pitch I've heard. So maybe.
I'm doing the Lord's work here for Saw. That's it. Those are my news stories. Quick. Look at that. We did it in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's unheard of. But now we get into the thing that's what usually ends up taking like 2 hours. But I'll start with the main topic number 1, which is going to be my conversation on Sundance. Sundance is over. 2026 Sundance. It's out the door.
Goodbye,
Done.
Utah.
Bye, Utah. It's been nice knowing you. Never had the chance or the privilege to grace your fair state and walk around those streets and see the Egyptian theater, but I am looking forward to hopefully one day stepping foot in Boulder and having my first Sundance experience in the not so distant future. I saw 10 movies. I watched 10 movies over the course of 3 days. I'm not going to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
I will provide quick highlights on the ones that I think are worth noting, as well as quickly discussing some acquisitions that occurred at the festival. I'll actually start there. Let's start at the acquisitions so we can just freely talk about it. 3 big ones came out of the festival. The first one being Leviticus. This was picked up by Neon. This one is being touted as a sort of queer coming-of-age horror film about 2 teenage boys who have to fight off a violent entity that's capable of taking the form of the other.
Oh, like the other boy, not like
the other boy.
The other. Okay.
Yes. Not the other.
The other.
Or whatever. This one apparently was good enough for Neon to jump on worldwide rights in a 7-figure deal. It was the first sale of the festival, and it is allegedly supposed to be released later this year. I imagine it'll probably have a similar rollout to Together. I'm projecting like a early August release date, early fall. That's what I would say. It's actually, as of recording today, we got new news on South by Southwest, which we'll do a whole episode on that very soon. It's being added to the lineup there as well. So you'll hopefully be able to check it out, Tina, because I know you'll be on the ground there. What do you think of this?
I was gonna say it's low in my priorities because I got those lesbian horror movies that I gotta go to first.
Oh, right.
I gotta support the people, my people.
Sure.
I don't like. I don't really have anything crazy to say about it. I think that, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of at this point where it's like a deeper issue of queer storytelling, where the queer films that get the biggest splash are usually the ones with men in it. And we've seen it like last year. We saw it with Call Me by Your Name in the same year as Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Or no, maybe I'm wrong about that. But I don't know. I think it's kind of, I've been thinking about it a lot recently. I feel like I don't know why. I'm trying to think of like what kicked this off, but I have been thinking about it. And so it's on top of the mind where I'm like, yay, excited for queer storytelling to be the first film sold at the festival. But it's also like, I want that same investment into queer female storytelling as well.
One of the other films that was acquired at the festival, this one was a big one. This was after what ended up being like a 72-hour sort of back and forth bid between Neon, Black Bear, Netflix, Searchlight, Focus Features, and even Warner Brothers. And all at the 11th hour, an 8-figure, I believe, deal. It got to an 8-figure range, according to my notes. A24 purchased Olivia Wilde's The Invite. This stars Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, Edward Norton, and Penelope Cruz. It's quite simply about a dinner party from hell when a couple whose marriage is on the brink have dinner with another couple that's polyamorous. So
I love a dinner party gone wrong.
It kind of sounds like a more confined version of Splitsville from last year, which I really liked.
I haven't seen it yet. Don't take away my loving Dakota Johnson card. I still love her.
I keep pressing you on this to watch it because she's in it and you haven't. But it's really great. The movie's actually The Invite is actually written by Will McCormick and Rashida Jones, apparently, based on a 2019 Spanish film called Sentimental.
Interesting.
So,
I mean, Olivia Wilde, I loved Booksmart. I think Booksmart was just like a lightning bolt of a lot of, immense talent, and then also like a very interesting directorial eye. I think she still had a good directorial eye in Don't Worry, Darling, but I think that a lot of other things, and boy, what I would give to find out what happened on that set. But I think the script of Don't Worry, Darling being significantly lower in quality to Booksmart kind of exacerbated maybe like the growing pains of a sophomore feature. So I'm curious. I love a dinner party gone wrong. So I'm curious about that one.
And then the last one, I'll just kind of tag it here and then we'll get to it because it's actually a movie I did see. Sony Pictures Classics ended up picking up the movie Bedford Park. This movie was directed by Stephanie Ahn. And it also won the jury award for dramatic debut feature. But I will get to that in the sort of quick rundown of all the other movies that I saw. So real fast, 10 movies. I'm going to start. I saw a movie called Take Me Home. It was pretty good. I saw a movie called Chasing Summer. It was also pretty good. The best thing about it was that I was first introduced to Lola Tung in that movie. I have not seen The Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't know if I ever will.
Oh, yeah. Team Conrad.
She's also in that. She's in Forbidden Fruits, I believe. That's that movie that you're really looking forward to. So I'm actually now more curious to watch that movie because she was great in this. So what a delight. A discovery. Rock Springs. This one is directed by Vera Miao. This stars Kelly Marie Tran, Benedict Wong, and Jimmy O Yang. And this one it's the only midnight film that was available for online. It's actually also going to be playing at South by, apparently. It's basically about a mother played by Kelly Marie Tran who's like moving out to this new neighborhood in this place called Bedford Park. Her husband has passed.
Wait, I thought Bedford Park was the other one.
Oh, not Bedford Park. Excuse me. Rock Springs. Too many different like location-based places. I'm so sorry. Thank you for correcting me. She moves out there with her daughter and her mother-in-law, grieving over the passing of her husband. And her daughter starts to hear and see things out in the woods. And there's a huge extended flashback about Chinese immigrants that are working out. I believe they're doing like lumber and stuff. And there's this harrowing scene of this horrific lynching and a massacre that happens, and that's really the big part with Jimmy O Yang and Benedict Wong's section of the movie. That I honestly, that was like the moment that like really like I leaned in, because it was just absolutely directed incredibly well, and the performances are so good. This is also the movie that I told you about, and I won't get into details because if people are interested in this, I think you should just check it out of your own accord. I thought it was really good. Nothing outstanding or altogether hugely special, but well worth it if it's something that interests you. The thing that I found so odd about it, though, is that this movie, weirdly enough, has a nice comparison to The Substance in a way that you might not expect.
That is
and
so strange.
I do mean in the most heightened extent of The Substance. So take that for what it's worth. You can kind of ruminate on what you may or may not think that means, but I was quite shocked with some of the stuff they do in this movie. I don't know if it quite makes sense or sort of like rounds out the movie in a cohesive way, but I admire it for going for it. It didn't quite make sense, but I found it admirable. So that's Rock Springs.
Interesting. And now I'm just thinking of Kelly Marie Tran as like a 80s fitness instructor, and that's what carried over from The Substance.
So the musical, we'll pair this one with the other one that you saw as well. But the musical, this one stars Will Brill, Rob Lowe, and Gillian Jacobs. And this one is basically about a disgruntled sort of middle school. I think it's probably elementary school. These kids are pretty damn young. Middle school, elementary school drama teacher who is sort of pissed off at Rob Lowe's character, who is the principal. He actually starts dating his ex, Will Brill's character's ex, who's played by Gillian Jacobs, who is the art teacher. And so out of sort of to spite him, he decides to change the middle school. The school, I'm just going to not even, they're elementary school kids. We're just going to leave it at that. They're really young. Change their musical from West Side Story.
Wait a minute.
I guess
elementary school kids were doing West Side Story?
They were doing West Side Story, yeah.
That already is psychotic.
Well, what he ends up changing it to is a musical that he writes himself about 9/11.
I heard many jokes about that because of did you ever watch Skins, the British show with like Dev Patel and like so many people got their start on, like Jack O'Connell got his start there. Great show growing up in the early 2000s. But there's also in the first season, they also do a 9/11 musical. That is, they sing a song called The Day.
But what age are they in?
They're in high school.
Okay, so it's not as
but it is
shocking.
It is crazy. I think that the problem with what you're talking about right now is that they were already going to do West Side Story. That is already a bad choice for elementary or middle school students.
There are junior versions of shows.
Think about the plot of West Side Story, Nick.
I know what the plot is.
Okay, and you think that they have a junior enough version of the plot of West Side Story for elementary school?
They probably do.
I don't believe it.
I have been surprised. I bet there's a Heather's the Musical Junior.
No.
There's a Mean Girls Junior.
Because that's not as crazy as a Heather's, where the kid tries to blow up the school.
What about the difference between West Side Story Junior and Mean Girls Junior? I think that's comparable.
Because in Mean Girls Junior, nobody is getting their brother killed and then banging their boyfriend who killed their brother.
You can tastefully do that. I would. You can do it. It's fine. But I liked it. I thought it wasn't as funny as I had hoped it was going to be. It kind of felt like those what is it? Like shows like The Righteous Gemstones or Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, that style of humor. The last like 15 minutes of it, though, are like astounding. Like when they actually do the show, like the things that they incorporate and the details like to George Bush and Rudy Giuliani, it's hysterical. So I really enjoyed it. Would recommend it. Segueing real quickly, Run Amok follows a similar type pattern of these are high school kids. Yes. She's a freshman. Her cousin is a senior, I believe. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So in this one, the young main girl is developing a musical sort of as a sort of tribute and catharsis to an event that occurred at that same school over a school shooting. I wasn't as crazy on it. It did feel a little bit like a Tubi or a YouTube Red original movie. Patrick
I think
Wilson
that's
was a delight
harsh.
to see.
I think that
You think that's harsh?
I think Alyssa, I should have looked up her name, but the girl who plays the lead, I was blown away by her.
Yeah, I thought she was fine.
Fantastic.
I thought she was really good.
I don't feel like it was I wouldn't call it a Tubi show at all. I feel like it's messy, but it's also it felt like the sort of messiness of high schoolers. I think it's got some issues. I think it needed some editing, but I think I'm very curious, and I kind of want to look up the short film. I did not watch the short film.
Yeah. I think that this works probably better as a short film.
I don't know, because
in my opinion,
there's some really interesting. Like, people have been extremely divided on it online that I saw, and I think that it's partially coming from the fact that, like, when we watch school shooting stuff, it's an extremely difficult thing to watch just in general, but if it's not like heavy handed, I feel like on one side or the other, you know, if it's not like showing you, I don't know, I feel like it didn't fully come down on like everyone feels better and everybody is happy, but I think that is also like very much an important conversation to have of these people kept trying to tell this young girl how to handle her grief of the impact of the school shooting had on her life, which was a massive one. And then they were like, but you're not grieving in the right way. This isn't going to give a catharsis to somebody, to anybody. And she's like, but it's doing that for me. And so I think that it's not perfect, but I think that it was at least, I don't know. It was something that I'm still thinking about, and something that I think should start conversations instead of just people shutting it fully down. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say I found it interesting how easy Patrick Wilson just went along with it for the longest time before he actually started to like be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. And I also found the absurdity and just like the unpractical nature and the it didn't necessarily make me feel better, even though that's what their intent, quote unquote, was trying to do with the notion of like all the teachers having like guns with blanks and stuff. Like
they were not trying to make you feel better with that. I don't think at all.
I know. And I think that's good though. 'Cause it's like the characters in there were like, this is our way of solving this. And I'm like, yeah, but no. 'Cause like this just, I'm rejecting this. This doesn't feel right. And I know that that's the director's intention. So to that point, I think that element of the film succeeded very well. I just think, you know, cinematography wise, the lighting and everything, it just looked like a made for TV type movie is what I was saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think, cause I was gonna say, I think it's got a lot more depth than something like that.
Certainly.
But yeah, it's very interesting. I would like to watch it again, not on like a time crunch.
Yeah. All right, just a couple more here. Carousel. This movie stars Chris Pine and Jenny Slate. This is like your very typical sort of like, hey, I'm Chris Pine. I'm like a 45-year-old dad, and like my life is kind of falling apart, and I don't know which direction to go. And like sort of rekindling love with a relationship that kind of swept away with Jenny Slate and stuff. It's not really reinventing the wheel with those types of movies, but I think it's really anchored by both Chris Pine and Jenny Slate's performance in here. This is like something I haven't seen Chris Pine do. I'm kind of used to him as Captain Kirk in Star Trek and things like that. So I was really blown away. There is a sort of like pinnacle like altercation that occurs midway through the film in a dining room between the two characters having an argument, and it felt absolutely raw and real, and they both were giving it their all, and it's kind of the scene of the movie that the whole thing hinges on, and I think that they absolutely aced it. And it was maybe like the fourth or fifth movie I watched in the festival, and it was like the first time where I was like, I leaned in my seat, like, okay, now we're here, this is it, this is Sundance. So would definitely recommend keeping an eye on that one. I don't believe it has a distributor at this time.
Sounds like my dad's gonna be thrilled. He loves Chris Pine. He loves a dad movie.
This is it. This is the one. Okay, two more before I get to my favorite of the festival. Okay. Union County. Quickly, Will Poulter plays a addict in recovery, and it's really just the mundane nature of going through sort of the rehabilitation programs and sort of presenting yourself in front of the sort of judges and law enforcement to kind of gain more autonomy and sort of get out of this sort of rehab juncture. His performance is really great. It's raw. What I really liked about this movie too is that he is sort of accompanied with a lot of real life people, not actors. So the director populates the film with real people. This takes place in like Ohio during like the opioid epidemic and stuff like that. So I found it to be really intimate and earnest and hard to watch. Oh man, director. Let's get it right here live on the show coming up as soon as the page loads. Adam Meeks. This was written and directed by Adam Meeks.
That sounds...
in his debut feature.
Oh, then never mind. I guess it doesn't sound familiar. Oh, maybe... Oh, I think that I might have watched the short of Union County in 2020. He made a short version of it. So
okay.
this sounds familiar to me. So that feels potentially right.
Another film I saw was Z. This comes from our boy Kogonada, who most recently did A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, which I didn't mind as most people did. I don't know. It kind of worked for me. I know it's really cheesy and playing to the least common denominator, but it did kind of work. This is more in line with Columbus and After Yang, while being very much more experimental. This was filmed with like a crew and cast of like 8 people.
Interesting.
Very, very low spec. This stars Michelle Mao, Haley Lou Richardson, and Jen Ha. This was actually the movie I was thinking of. We were talking about queer female-led stuff. There is a little bit of that element to this movie. We were talking about ponies on our group chat as well with Haley Lou Richardson.
I was going to say, I haven't seen Z, but boy, do I love that Haley Lou Richardson is booked and busy.
Yes, and she's terrific in this as she is in pretty much everything she does. This one really just follows a young woman who's haunted by future visions of herself that she keeps seeing throughout Hong Kong. And Haley Lou Richardson is this character that just comes into her life during this time and is sort of like processing this with her. I don't necessarily think it comes to a concise conclusion that makes a lot of sense. I believe that there was discussions on like Kogonada was saying they were kind of like making things up as they went and they were just doing run and gun and kind of having fun. And if that's the case, it does kind of feel like that. It was listed in the next category for Sundance, which is typically reserved for more experimental films. And this definitely is in that wheelhouse for sure. So I would say if you like Kogonada's filming and his previous films and this cast with Haley Lou Richardson and are cool with something that's a little more dreamy and ethereal and kind of like a hangout movie, this might be up your alley.
I mean, I loved Columbus. It's like the only nice thing that I can say about Ohio is the fact that the movie Columbus exists.
But that's Columbus, Indiana.
Damn, I've been giving Ohio credit all these years?
Yeah, I guess so. It's Columbus, Indiana.
To hell with Ohio, then.
I've almost wanted to drive out to Columbus, Indiana to see some of the architecture that they filmed the movie at. It's not too far from me. Ugh. All right, and lastly, I had
a feeling this was going to be the one that you saved for last.
Let me tag Bedford Park again. Like I said, it won the jury award for dramatic debut. This comes from Stephanie Ahn, and it's a drama about a woman struggling with her loyalty to her Korean immigrant family and her own American identity as a child raised in New Jersey. When her mother gets into a car accident, it leads to a fateful meeting with Eli, an ex-wrestler battling his own fractured past. This is a really solid Sundance Fair type movie. You have 2 people that are damaged, that you care about, that their lives start to intertwine. They fight, they kind of love each other a little bit, but it's this sort of back and forth, and they're both being pressured by outside forces that are trying to influence them, but they just want to kind of be their authentic selves. I found it very moving. I found the characters and the performances by Moon Choi and Son Suku, I believe is his name, the guy that plays Eli. I found it both really refreshing. I've never seen these 2 actors before, and it just felt really authentic and real. This, like I said, was picked up by Sony Pictures Classics, so it'll probably get distribution very soon later this year. And the only con I would say is that I think it could be trimmed a little bit. It's like right at 2 hours. I think that there's maybe 10 minutes that you could shave down, but it's a kind of minor critique of mine. I really enjoyed it.
I had a friend who described it to me as a better past lives. And I was like, that's a high bar that you just set right there.
I don't know if I would say better, but they're kind of an interesting companion piece.
Okay.
I could kind of see a little bit of that.
Okay.
It's not as overtly romance driven
Right.
as Past Lives is, because that's kind of like the whole thing. But I can definitely see the comparisons there for sure.
Okay. I'm interested.
And the last one here for our main topic of the Sundance Roundup is my favorite film of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
This is Josephine. This one won the Grand Jury Prize, as well as the Audience Award under the U.S. Dramatic category. Now, this is kind of a big deal. Obviously, those are the biggest awards at the festival, but in years past at Sundance, we've seen films that have won one or both of these awards go on to later be Best Picture nominees. A couple previous examples being Precious, Whiplash, Minari, and then Coda, which did end up winning Best Picture. So this is definitely a movie that I think we're going to want to keep our eyes on throughout the year. I believe I was listening to a podcast. They said that it's going to premiere at another festival. It might be Venice. I could be wrong, but it's going to start making its rounds at other places. This one tells the story of 8-year-old Josephine, who accidentally witnesses a sexual assault in Golden Gate Park. And the film is basically a story of how she handles that, how she reconciles that, the life that she now is foisted into, of the reality of the harshness of the evil of the world, and how her parents, played by Gemma Chan and Channing Tatum, both succeed and fail at trying to console her and equip her with the knowledge and the strength to grow up faster than maybe that she would want to. I was absolutely riveted by this movie. It's harrowing. It is deeply, deeply upsetting. The young girl is Mason Reeves. This is her first film ever, and she knocks it out of the park. She absolutely kills it. And what a hell of a movie to have to just like jump into. It's asking a lot of her, and she 100% delivers the entire time. I know we talked about Roofman and Channing Tatum on previous podcasts or whatever, but like I'll continue to stand by being a huge Channing Tatum fan. I've been a fan of his from comedy with the Jump Street films. I thought he was really good in Blink Twice by Zoe Kravitz, and Roofman in this. Like, I think he is excellent in this movie. He has a line near the end that absolutely crushed me. And it's such a powerful movie. It is hard to, I guess, quote unquote, recommend to people because it's rough watch. It'll make you angry just about the reality of how like the authorities handle this, how like the courts and like lawyers get involved and just like the back and forth there. And it's troubling, but the performances are absolutely incredible. And it is clearly far and away the highlight of the festival for me. And one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm excited to watch it again, weirdly enough, like, because like the directing is incredible. The performances are great. The music's awesome. And it's just a tense and unflinching film, and I can't wait for more people to watch it.
Yeah, the friends that I was chatting with who went, they also said nothing but great but hard things about Josephine. So I guess I will walk back my belief in Channing Tatum. I should have known a West Virginia boy would come through. But yeah, I'm curious in it. I'm curious to watch her other film because that was also recommended to me when they were talking about Josephine. So I've heard it's also another tough one. I've heard it's also just really heavy, but expertly well done. It seems a little more divisive just based off of what I was looking at, ratings wise, than how it seems like Josephine is doing. But I'm curious because it seems like I don't think it's coming to South by. So if I see it, it'll probably be TIFF. So I got a ways to wait.
Yeah, I didn't see on the next wave of lineup from South by it was going to be there, so TIFF might be a safe bet. But yeah, just keep your eyes on it. It's probably going to be one we're talking about for award season as well to some degree. I don't want to put too much emphasis on that, but it's...
Why? Podcasters love doing that, Nick. You have to start doing that.
Just put all my chips in on one movie and just keep banging the drum all year until it... this is me manifesting it, basically, I guess. I don't know. That's Sundance 2026. It's done. Those were the films I saw. We'd love to know what you guys saw. If anyone listening or watching has seen anything, please jump in the comments, talk to us. We'd love to hear about it. But with the time remaining, which is not too much time, but again, I think we're making some good time here. It's finally time. Look, we're in February. Tina, we got to just do it. Let's talk about some of our favorite movies from 2025. A lot of these movies we've talked about ad nauseum, and we'll probably talk about a bit more because many of these are nominated for various Oscars, and so we have another month to talk about Oscar stuff. So I don't want to talk too much on the granular details about these ones. I would love to just kind of rapid fire go through some. Do you want to start? I can start.
I'll start with, I don't want to talk anymore about Ann Lee, but boy, could I talk more about Ann Lee after having just seen it again over the weekend. So know that Ann Lee is on my list, but I want to talk about Train Dreams because I think Train Dreams is something so special. And I don't know, it's just one of the ones that has kind of wormed its way into my heart. And I think about the final sequence all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just so beautiful and such a gentle reflection on how life kind of sucks a lot of the time, but that there are moments when when you count it all together and you can look at the people that you've loved, the things that you've experienced, good and bad, and then you can look at it and say, I had a good life, however it ends. And I think that it's so beautiful. I really loved it. I love Joel Edgerton in that. And Carrie Condon,
yep.
Condon, yes. Her little sequence as the forest ranger and the observer is just, it's so simple and it's so beautiful. And I don't know. I think it's gonna end up being one of my favorites, just like in general of a movie. So release it on physical, please, Netflix.
Oh my gosh, yes, seriously. It's on my Netflix queue to watch again. I caught it in theaters and so glad I did. Felicity Jones is so good in this as well. Good. William H. Macy has a small bit part as well that is super profound and impactful to the film. I like that there's just these characters that kind of come in and out of Joel Edgerton's character's orbit.
Yeah.
And then they leave, but we're still with him, and the ramifications are felt of those characters' presence on him as the story continues. And the cinematography is just absolutely stunning in this movie.
So
I would
beautiful.
Be pleased as punch if it won Best Cinematography. Yeah, so Ann Lee was my number 10. I didn't rank these by like hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like I don't really believe in that too much, but I do have like a solid core like 10 or 15 that didn't really move all that much. So we're keeping Ann Lee there. We're keeping Train Dreams. I think we've spoken about Begonia. I think we both really liked Begonia, the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie. Watched it again about a week or so ago. Still holds strong. Just, it's kind of bonkers to me that movie is nominated for the stuff that it's nominated at the Oscars. But kudos to Yorgos. Long live his
the weird Greek cinema.
Weird Greek cinema. Another one that I want to mention real quick too is Rental Family. Have you seen it yet?
So I tried it and I wasn't feeling it. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't finish because it was like I was watching just screeners at the end of the year trying to get through stuff, and I don't like shutting off a movie, but I was like underwater in terms of like stuff that I had to get done. And it just something wasn't clicking with me, and it made me a little sad that it wasn't clicking with me. But I have not gone back. Maybe I'll try it again when things are slow. But
did you get through his first task as sort of the rental family person? Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's when it like fully locked in for me, because I found that sequence to be incredibly beautiful of his role in that relationship and how that helped this other relationship, and the sort of domino effect of that and him immersing himself in this role. I was just absolutely swept by it. So yeah. I
love the score.
Love it. The score was really good.
Yeah.
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 Really like that. Would recommend for folks, Tina, you as well, when you are not swamped by it, because that happens to me all the time. I'll watch something and then like there's just so much going on that like I can't like.
Yeah.
And I'm not to discredit your like feelings on it, because like you could watch it again completely plate free and still not be vibing with it. So like I don't want to completely discount that, but like I know from my own experience, like when I'm preoccupied with so many different things, like I'm not giving the movie my full attention, and I'm not giving it a proper chance. So I would just encourage you to maybe check it out sometime in the next couple months or whatever.
I feel like we
Might
also
like it.
tend to agree on like sad boy cinema like that. So
Yeah.
I feel like
I
there's a
think
chance. Yeah.
we're pretty good. We're pretty in lockstep on sad boy cinema. Genre film and stuff, maybe not as much, but
Yeah, I
sad
have
boy
found
cinema.
I've been thinking about how we like built this whole podcast premise on like how we don't agree on anything, and then we've just been agreeing for 6 episodes straight.
Well, that's why we maybe need to do the bonus feature on Whistle so that we can actually finally
we can
kind of
fight.
get after each other, fight
Oh,
each other.
my goodness. I'm ready.
Do you have another one for 2025?
So Hamnet, we've talked about a bunch already. I've talked about
Sure.
my love of Jessie Buckley, but I think Hamnet is going to go down as one of the most special pieces of filmmaking. I think what Jessie Buckley does is extraordinary. What Jacoby and Noah Jupe do, I think, is beautiful. I saw a little interview with the two of them where Noah was like, I only got it from nepotism because my little brother's in it. And little Jacoby was like taking it so seriously because it was really important. And he was like, no, you're a really good actor.
Oh,
It was so sweet. But something about, I think it's a testament to just the spirit of the movie and the spirit of the film and the spirit of making movies in general and the people involved in this movie in particular, that when Jessie Buckley won, she thanked, I think, a sound guy and like knew his name. And I think that on a film of that scale, people who aren't as interested as in the community aspect and the feeling and the emotional connection that is hopefully there on the set, I think that just doesn't exist in a lot of places. And I think also a lot of actors might not be tuned into that. They're in their own separate world. But I think that it speaks to the story of Hamnet and what the experience of seeing Hamnet in a theater is like, that in her, what was that? SAG? No, not SAG.
no.
Critics?
Critics, I
Something.
believe.
That she shouted him out. I think that and for like his chili or his potatoes or something. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I was actually listening to the score
Mm.
a day or two ago. I was getting some work done and listening to the score, and just I'm anxious to watch this movie again. I've only seen it once.
Same. Yeah.
Very much looking forward to getting a chance to watch it again. It's out on like VOD, but I don't want to pay like premium prices for whatever.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to buy it physically so that
Same.
I can have digital and physical. But absolutely would recommend Hamnet. It's a movie that's going to be talked about a lot for the next few weeks going into the Oscars and stuff, and definitely one that should be on your radar.
Criminal that Paul Mescal is not nominated. Absolutely criminal that he is not nominated.
Yeah, I think we talked about this in our Oscar episode. I think you take out one of the One Battle After Another ones and you throw in Paul Mescal, because I wouldn't want to get rid of Delroy Lindo.
No, just the two, just Jesse and Paul, and it's the last thing I'll say about Hamnet. Just the way that they are able to be so physically and emotionally grounded in a single scene together, I think is something so special to be able to watch. So
another one for me, I mentioned it already in the podcast already, but Splitsville. I really like this movie. What was funny is that the director and writer and one of the stars, Michael Angelo Covino, he's actually in Josephine. So he showed up, and I was like, he's a lawyer in it, and I was like, oh shit, this guy. This movie's super funny. It's one of my favorite comedies of the past year. It's, within, The Naked Gun and Friendship. It's like those three are like the titans of comedy for 2025 for me. Dakota Johnson, Adria Giorno. It's about a couple that's in an open relationship, but are they really? And sort of like the back and forth there. It's super, super smart. Very funny. I think it's maybe one of my favorite scripts of the year. It's just tight. It's just so good. Nicholas Braun has a very fun character that shows up near the halfway point of the film that's super memorable as well, and I would super recommend it for people that are interested in a good laugh.
I gotta do it. It's sitting downstairs. I just haven't done it yet. One day.
What about you? We got time for maybe a couple more.
Okay, rapid fire. Sorry, baby. Fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. Sound of Falling. Brutal. Esoteric. Gorgeous. So well done. Should have been in conversation for international feature. If you want to talk about this theme that emerged last year of like houses being this like well of grief, and like Sorry Baby and Sentimental Value, which is another one I loved, and Sound of Falling, the three of those together in conversation with each other about the weight of this physical enclosed space that is supposed to provide safety and security, and then it ends up providing such grief and trauma and everything, I think is fantastic. Rebuilding is another little one that I want to shout out. Max Walker Silverman. I think that his movies, I'm such a sucker for movies about like the lonesome American cowboy whose version of masculinity is like so kind and so gentle, but also like very much like I want to take care of myself and my life and my family. And I just think that it's such a beautiful little movie that not very many people saw, and I really want to support it. And then last is Natchez, which is a documentary I'm going to throw onto here.
Okay.
It's a documentary about Natchez, Mississippi, I want to say. I forget. Somewhere in the South for sure. And it's a documentary about how that town is primarily Black people, but their economy is built on antebellum tourism. So you have this divide of Black people giving tours about like the actual history of the South during the Civil War and slavery and all of that. And then you have this group of white people who have preserved these plantation homes and are like glossing over the slavery's impact and be like, oh, but in this house, the slaves liked working here. And you're just like, no, they didn't. So it's very interesting to see these two at odds with each other. And I think it's just such an interesting look at like where we are and how we all look at history in different ways, even though historical fact is fact. But it's also just gorgeously shot and so well done. It's not a talking head documentary at all. It's just fly on the wall. You're in it. It's great.
But I like a talking heads documentary. A music documentary.
I was gonna say the music talking heads. Yeah.
All right, a couple one for me real quick here. Got to shout out Weapons, Zach Kreger. I love what he did with this movie. It's such a fun sort of unraveling of a mystery of this sort of horror that happens to this town with these kids that disappear into the night. It's got such a balls to the wall, awesome performance from Amy Madigan. Again, we're getting her that Oscar. We're pushing her all the way. I'm just overjoyed with how fun it is, and the performances are all great. It's super well and confidently made. It's got me so pumped for what Zach Kreger is going to do with Resident Evil, with him saying hey, it's going to have the DNA of Resident Evil, but it's not going to really have the characters or follow the story that you're used to. And to me, as someone that has seen a lot of video game adaptations just be absolutely squandered, I think this is the best way to go about it. Is you get somebody that's passionate about the property, that's reverential of the property, but decides to make it his own. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's his movie. It's not Resident Evil. And I think that if you view it from that lens, the critique can kind of like be lowered. And so I have no idea what it could be. And that's what's so exciting, because his two films previous, they're not comparable by any measure, in my opinion. So like, it makes me wonder what the hell this Resident Evil could be. And then lastly, Bring Her Back, Danny and Michael Philippou. These two guys started out as YouTubers. I watched them growing up in high school. I've been such a big fan of these guys. When Talk to Me came out, I actually drove to Chicago and went to an early screening, met them, got to get a picture with them, hang out with them. And so Bring Her Back, their follow-up to that one, I was very curious to see, and I really liked it. It's definitely different from Talk to Me, but Sally Hawkins' performance is absolutely just incredible and saddening, and
it's heartbreaking. It's
horrific.
It's they have like some of the like the gore, grotesque moments of like Talk to Me and everything, but even Talk to Me too, I feel like both of them are just like
are pretty reserved though.
They're deeply sad though, also,
and deeply sad.
Like more than they're trying to scare you, they're trying to make you feel that emotional tug.
Stir you up.
And I ended up liking Talk to Me more, but I like Sally. If we take Sally Hawkins' performance out of it, that's like top of the line for me. She's so phenomenal in it. But I thought everybody was good in it.
And then lastly, just to scream it from the tops, this is probably my number one movie of the year, 28 years later.
Yeah.
Phenomenal movie. I have seen it twice. I sat in a theater with no AC. It wasn't working, but I had to see it again. I took my sister. She was miserable the whole time, but she ended up liking it. And it's such a great movie. I cannot recommend it enough. Even if you haven't seen the other ones, absolutely worth your time. My number one movie of the year. That's it. We did it.
We did
Holy
it.
crap.
I'm
Within
so proud
an hour.
of us.
Just under, basically.
Yeah, we
So
did
now,
it.
All we gotta do is
Say goodbye.
Some say goodbyes. Thank you guys for listening and watching wherever you are. We are everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at I Think You'll Hate This, a movie podcast. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, all those places. I Think You'll Hate This. And then we are on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter at ITYHT Movie Pod, or I Think You'll Hate This. You'll find it.
The links
So,
are all
go
in
follow
the
us there.
description, too.
It's all in the description,
Yeah.
too. Depending on where you're watching it, you'll find it there. It's great. Thank you, guys. As always, I'm Nick.
I'm
This
Tina.
is Tina.
Go watch a movie.
And go watch a movie.